Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc were excluded from the Chinese Grand Prix, a fact that already represented one of the greatest shocks of the season. Now, with the Ferrari boss Frédéric Vasseur revealing unexpected information about what happened and what may unfold next, the situation takes on a much graver tone. This is no longer a simple isolated technical infringement. According to Vasseur, we may be entering a new and extremely relentless chapter of Formula One, one in which exclusions like these become more frequent and, if he is correct, this changes the entire scenario. What Vasseur revealed goes beyond a mere shock. It is a warning to the entire competition. He argues that the season will see more exclusions as teams push their cars to the extreme limits, in a race to remain competitive in an increasingly contested environment. However, it was his subsequent clarification that truly captured everyone's attention. Vasseur stressed the importance of distinguishing what happened with Ferrari from a far more controversial situation. He pointed out that it is essential to differentiate between being eliminated for taking risks and being eliminated for cheating. One situation is part of the sport, the other is not. According to the team principal, the Ferrari case clearly falls into the first category. This statement alone is quite impactful. If you are wondering what this means for Ferrari, for Hamilton, for Leclerc, and for the battle for the title, prepare yourself for a detailed analysis of what Vasseur has just admitted, and why this may alter the entire season of 2025. Stay with us until the end, as no detail will be left out. Let us begin with the actual exclusion. At the Chinese Grand Prix, Hamilton and Leclerc finished in 6th and 4th places respectively. However, within a few hours, both had their results nullified from the official records. The reason was the discovery of two distinct technical infringements. Hamilton's car did not pass the post-race under-tray inspection due to excessive wear on the plate, whose thickness fell below the minimum required. In contrast, Leclerc's vehicle came in under the minimum weight allowed after the team replaced the front wing and registered the new weight following the race. Although these were different infractions, the outcome was the same. Both drivers were eliminated without any points, causing significant damage. Vasseur, however, does not view this as an isolated case. For him, this episode is a sign of the direction the sport is taking. The battle at the front of the grid is so intense, with Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, and even Mercedes fighting for podiums, that teams find themselves compelled to push every limit, whether it is in ride height, weight, aerodynamics, setups, or even tire strategy. Everything is taken to the extreme, and sometimes even surpassed, which inevitably leads to mistakes, oversights, and yes, exclusion. Vasseur admits that this type of elimination may soon cease to be rare. He explains that when every technical parameter is pushed to its limit, it is easy to slip up, especially when conditions change during the race or when unexpected wear affects components that previously seemed secure. With such narrow margins, the risk of violating a regulation, even unintentionally, becomes significantly greater. The main distinction that Vasseur insists on making is that this does not constitute cheating, nor is it the result of a team deliberately trying to break the rules for an unfair advantage. It is a situation where the team takes calculated risks within the permitted parameters and, at times, unintentionally crosses the line. As Vasseur explained, being eliminated for taking risks is different from being eliminated for deceiving, and the danger lies in the tendency for the public and possibly rival teams to confuse the two situations. From Ferrari's perspective, this statement is both reassuring and concerning. On one hand, it shows that the team is still willing to take bold risks in the pursuit of performance. They are not opting for the safe route, but rather an aggressive approach that is essential for challenging for championships. On the other hand, it reveals how thin the line is between success and failure, between a finish that earns points and an elimination that nullifies everything. When there are two exclusions in a single race, one involving Hamilton and another involving Leclerc, questions arise about whether the team's internal controls and risk assessments are effective. For Hamilton, this episode represents a major challenge. He left Mercedes in search of a new horizon and to build a legacy, a task that demands not only speed, but also consistency and weekends free of setbacks. Yet how can he deliver that performance if the team's approach puts him at risk of losing results even when his driving is exemplary? The Chinese Grand Prix was indeed a remarkable race for Hamilton. Despite facing initial speed issues, he followed the team's instructions and brought the car to the finish, securing 6th place, only to have everything invalidated after a technical inspection. Now, with Vasseur admitting that this kind of risk may recur, the pressure on the team to safeguard the driver's results increases, preventing technical shortcomings from turning into exclusion. Leclerc, for his part, expressed his frustration after the race, directing it not toward the team, but at the situation. On his social networks, he commented that the weekend was extremely challenging, and that the team would undergo a restructuring before the Japanese Grand Prix. Behind the scenes, however, this series of small yet decisive errors is building a narrative that Ferrari cannot afford. If the aim is to challenge Red Bull and McLaren throughout the season, execution must be refined. Taking risks is acceptable as long as it is done intelligently, calculated, and well managed. And that is where the true challenge of this story lies. Every team aspires to victory and knows that following only the safe path may leave them behind. However, Formula One does not reward mere boldness. It rewards results. If Ferrari does not find a way to operate at the limits without crossing the established boundary, it risks turning ambition into self-sabotage. What Vasseur has just confessed may seem obvious at first glance, but when a high-ranking team principal publicly acknowledges the fine line between performance and penalty in today's Formula One, the entire discussion about what it takes to compete at the front transforms. In an era where every millimeter of ride height, every gram of weight, and every strategic decision can mean the difference between podiums and exclusions, such clarity is rare and raises fundamental questions not only about Ferrari's approach, but also about the ever-evolving nature of modern competition. This forces fans, commentators, and rival teams to rethink the assumptions made when a car is excluded from the results. We have become so accustomed to associating an exclusion with negligence or even unethical conduct that we often forget that these decisions can result from an extreme pursuit of performance. When a team like Ferrari strives to extract the maximum performance within the permitted limit, it is not necessarily acting irresponsibly. It may simply be doing what is necessary to survive in a hyper-competitive environment. However, with that risk comes uncertainty. And now, with Vasseur confirming that more exclusions may occur across the grid this season, a new layer of unpredictability is added to the battle for the championship. This places Ferrari under intense scrutiny. The issue is not only the exclusion itself, but how the team will respond to it. Will Ferrari become more cautious and lose precious tenths in the process? Or will it double down, trusting its engineering team to find new ways to progress without crossing the line again? There is no simple answer, and the situation becomes even more complicated when you consider that two top-level drivers, Hamilton and Leclerc, depend on the team not only for speed, but also for compliance with the rule. For Hamilton, this is a decisive moment. He left Mercedes in search of new challenges and to build a legacy. But now he faces not only on-track competition, but also the issues of a team still trying to rediscover its winning DNA. His confidence in Ferrari will be tested not by criticism or speculation, but by the way the team handles the upcoming critical races, responds to setbacks, and builds a car that, in addition to showcasing brilliance, remains steadfast under strict technical scrutiny. The psychological burden on Leclerc cannot be ignored. As a talent developed within the team, who has already experienced the highs and lows of Ferrari's long wait for titles, he understands well the weight of great expectations. Being excluded after a race in which he fought through difficulties is demoralizing and places him in a situation similar to Hamilton's, who dedicates himself fully and achieves results, only to have everything nullified by a technicality. At present, both drivers depend on the team's evolution to eliminate these costly errors while receiving the necessary support to achieve victory. Vasseur's admission can be seen as an attempt to minimize the damage, but it also serves as a challenge to all teams in the paddock. If Ferrari is risking exclusions in the pursuit of performance, What are the chances that McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes, or Aston Martin may also find themselves on the brink of committing similar infringement? How will the sport's governing body react if more cars begin operating so close to or even beyond the limits? We may be facing a season in which technical rigor and rule enforcement become as decisive as on-track skill and efficient pit stops. This moment may define not only who is the fastest, but also who is the most daring without breaking the rule. It is about finding the balance between ambition and excess, between innovation and stability, and that will test the resilience of each team, especially Ferrari. For when the pressure mounts and the championship is at stake, those who manage risks best will be the ultimate winners. Share your thoughts on Vasseur's bold stance. Do you see this as a demonstration of strength and leadership, or as an indication that Ferrari may already be at a disadvantage? In your view, is this a wake-up call for the entire grid, or merely another chapter in Ferrari's narrative of ups and downs? Whatever your analysis, the tension is increasing and every decision becomes more crucial with each race. If you have been enjoying this in-depth analysis of the events shaping this electrifying season of 2025, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications. This is only the beginning, and there is much more ahead. From fierce battles between drivers to controversies over the rules, surprising comebacks, and possibly even new shocks in the championship. We will be here to uncover every detail with clarity and objectivity, always committed to the truth of the facts. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.